Hello everyone, it's Kathy and welcome back here on my YouTube channel and back into my craft room. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today we're going to be looking at a product that just went live a couple of days ago, and this is a free item that you can get with a $50 purchase. And look at this beautiful pack of paper. It is simply gorgeous. I'm going to pull this out so I can show you, and it's a fairly good sized pack of paper. It is it's just absolutely beautiful, and this is called Favorite Flowers. There's also a stamp set in the catalog that goes with it, and let me show you where it's at in our catalog. Here's our Sale-a-Bration catalog. You can get this beautiful pack of paper absolutely free if you place a $50 order on my website. So and that's before shipping and tax, so it has to be the retail amount. There's the paper, and it is so pretty. And remember, everything in this catalog is not for sale. You earn it free by purchasing $50 increments. They do have a couple of items that's $100, but most everything in here is a $50 purchase, and you can choose it free. Now, it coordinates with the Fragrant Flower bundle, which is on page, it doesn't tell, yes it does, page 21. So let's look at the catalog. I can open them now. 21, and it actually goes with this beautiful flower stamp set, and I have not ordered this yet. It is on my list to get, but I hadn't got it yet. I love that beautiful big flower, and you've got this little thing right here that you can use with it as well. It is just a stunning pack of paper, and I love it. I think it's gorgeous. So with the paper and with the stamp set, I mean, your possibilities are endless. But this catalog is now live, so if you haven't taken a look at it, please do so. If you have not received a catalog from me and you want one, please reach out to me and I'll make sure you get one. We are going to use this paper. No, we're not going to use this paper. I'm going to show you the prototype that I made, which I use this piece of paper here, and today I'm going to do it in a different color because I wanted to show you the possibilities of all the different things that you can do. And the paper that I'm going to use today is also a free pack from the Sale-a-Bration, and it is called the Dainty Flowers. Now, the Dainty Flowers, it's Dainty Flowers on one side. Let me pull this out of my sleeve. Okay, it's Dainty Flowers on one side, but if you check the other side, you've got this beautiful, this is a beautiful watercolor wash. Look at this. Cut this in half and then cut it into 1, 2, 3. It would give you 6 card fronts, and all you'd have to do is glue it on a mat and put a sentiment on it. Quick, easy cards. That's a beautiful green on the back of that one. This one is gorgeous. You can cut these out and put them on a mat, put a sentiment in the middle, and you've got an easy card. We'll be doing some of those. That's another beautiful, almost like an alcohol wash blend. I love it. There's a soft green, and then you got the beautiful fresh freesia on the back. Same here. And then this one, you've got this bold, sort of a geometric design, and that's what we're going to use today. So I've already pulled this sheet, and we're going to use that today. This is a beautiful blushing bride on the back of this, and there we go. And that's that pack of paper. Absolutely beautiful. And like I said, I pulled this piece, and I went ahead and took the liberty of cutting a piece down. I'm going to show you from start to finish how I made this card. So I'm going to stick this back in right there, and then let's get all of it back into my sleeve. And yes, I have 2 packs of this. Oh, I love it. I thought it was so pretty. So So let's go ahead and get started. On this the prototype, I'm going to do something a little different on my card that I'm going to make today. I want this to kind of recess in, so I'm gonna kind of change it up a little bit, but I think you're gonna like what we're gonna do. At least I hope so. So what I want to do is take my card base, and we're not going to do anything with this. The card base, and this is a Starry Sky, and it is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. So I'm going to set that over to the side. Here's that piece of designer series paper, and here is our mat, our white mat. Now the white mat's going to go back here. So this is the one I want to cut into, and what I want to do is I want to cut. And I think I'm going to lay this on top just like that, because I want to cut them both the same. So I want to make sure I get everything nice and even. I'm going to use my stitched rectangle dies, and we are going to use I think it was this one. I'm going to size them up on here to make sure I'm getting the right one. Yeah, we're going to use that one, and I believe this one. Yeah, those two dies right there. And we're going to cut both of these pieces at the same time. Now, I'm going to make sure I place them exactly the way I want them. And this is going to be here, and I'm just going to eyeball center once I get that in position where I want it. I'm going to take a piece of my post-it note tape, and I'm going to put that down on here, and then I'm going to do the same thing for this piece here, and I'm going to lay it up on this piece about like this. Now, did that look like it moved? Because it does look like it to me. I'll take that piece off just for a minute and look at that. Yeah, this isn't quite straight. I saw it the minute I laid this one down on here. It's funny how when you're using rectangles or squares, when you lay one down and you put another one down, you can automatically tell when it's off. Really kind of weird, but it works that way. So I'm going to stick that down there, and this one right here. And what I'm doing is I'm trying to secure both of these, and I'm going to lay everything back on top of the white. I'm going to wrap this one around just to kind of hold everything together. Just like that. That looks pretty good. So I'm going to grab my big Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And I'm going to zoom out so hopefully you can see what I'm doing. A little bit anyway. And I'm going to open this up kind of like this, and I'm going to grab my plates. And I've got my number 1 plate, my number 2 adapter plate, a cut plate number 3, and a cover plate number 3. So I'm going to lay this in, and I'm going to lay this at an angle. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I am cutting on a flat line. And if you lay it in at an angle, it takes a lot of the stress off of your machine, off of you and your dies. So let's crank it through. Now remember, we're cutting through 2 layers. So I'm going to back it back through again. That way I know I'm getting a good cut on it. And then one more time. Now that makes 3 passes, so we should have cut through, and hopefully we will. So I'm going to go ahead and set this back down because I'm feeling pretty confident that we got it. And I'm going to take this off. And oh yeah, we definitely did. This is cut. Yep, we got it. I know if the bottom one cut, the top one cut, so I'm not too worried about that. But now I got to get this piece off, and that came off beautifully. Now I'm going to save these pieces that I'm cutting out because we're going to use those inside our recess of our card. So I'm going to hang on to those. These are make great labels for another card, so I will keep those. Pulling my sticky flags off. And there is our piece that we are going to put on our card. So guess what? We're going to need another piece of white because I wasn't thinking when I cut through this. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe we're not. No, we're not. We're going to use this piece. This is exactly what I wanted. Oh my goodness. I'm overthinking it, y'all. Never overthink. Just do it. All right, we're going to take our card base now, and this is the piece that's going to go down on top of our card base, something like that. And then we are going to pop these pieces up, or actually no, I'm going to pop this piece up. So we're going to put adhesive on the back of this, but we're going to use something a little heavier, something that will hold this up a little better. And I'm thinking this piece is not straight, y'all. I'm going to have to recut this one. All right, we're going to get this. I'm going to grab a piece of thick basic white, and this is my last piece in this pack, which is letting me know that I probably need to order another pack of that. So I'm going to lay that over there as a reminder, and I'm going to grab my trimmer, and I'm going to trim out a 4 by 5 1/4 piece. Actually, I'm going to do it a little bit bigger. I'm going to go 4 1/8, which is half a quarter. And then I'm going to turn this, and instead of doing 5 1/4, I'm going to do 5 3/8. So I'm going to count my 8s. 1, 2, 3. This will give me a little bit bigger piece to work with, which is what I'm looking for. Now what I'm going to do to hopefully get this sized right is I am going to lay these down on here where I want them. Alright, I think this looks pretty good, so I'm going to grab those little flags again. First of all, let's put our dies over. Okay, I'm going to have to let this, because I'm not going to have enough room to put dimensionals around this, so we're going to let this go we're going to recess the card rather than it going in. We're going to have it this down and this popped out. I think that'd be pretty too. So I'm kind of dishing one plan and heading toward another one, but that's okay. That's all of our creativity. We all do this from time to time. We have an idea in our head and then we start putting it on paper. It doesn't pan out. So what do? You just regroup. So we're regrouping. Alright, I'm going to grab my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine one more time. And some of you said you wanted to watch the whole process, so I thought this being a Saturday video, this would be a good time for me to do the entire process and let y'all see exactly how I roll. And this is me rolling. Speaking of rolling, I'm cranking it through backwards for me. And let's put that down right there. And this here. And then we can take this off. These come off so nice and easy without tearing your paper. Alright, now that looks much better. Oh, let me get it the right way. So now we can put this onto our card like this. And yeah, I think I'm going to go this way. I did this one the opposite, but you know what? It's okay. It's our card. We can do what we want to with it. I think this time I'm going to go this way. I am going to put some glue. Let me move my dies so I don't get those mixed up or lost or what have you. Just like to make sure I put my dies back. They don't have to be put in there perfectly, but as long as they're in my sleeve, I know where they're at. So I'm going to take this. This is the back side. I'm going to put glue on it. So just like this. Just like that. And then I'm going to set this down, and because I cut this larger, the mat larger, you're going to have a much smaller margin around it, so it's going to be like a 1/16 of an inch around it, but that's okay. Then just give that a good press so that it's on there really well. Let me zoom y'all back in now that we finished our die cutting. Okay. So like I said, we're going to save those pieces. These pieces here, now look at, this is the other side. Look how pretty that would be. But we're going to stick with the plan, and we're going to go with this. I'm going to pop this up on Stampin' Dimensionals. So I'm just going to grab some of these. I like to put enough on here to make sure that it holds. And with this sitting up outside the card, I went a little heavy. So I did put 6 on here. Oops, one more. And now we're just going to drop this in so that it sits up just a little bit, just like that. So it's kind of raised up just a hair. See that? And then we're going to do the same thing down here. We're going to put some dimensionals on it. And there we go. Now let's put my pen back in my glue because I'm bad about leaving that out. Now let's take this piece and do the same thing. We're just going to drop it in. And give it a good press once you get it in there. Now our card's starting to take some shape. So I want to put a sentiment here, but what do I want to put it on? I think what I want to do is use a piece of the Starry Sky. I think this will work. And I want to heat emboss. And I'm going to use this from Peaceful Moments. If you don't have this stamp, this is one to have in your collection because it has so many beautiful sentiments on it. From happy birthday to deepest sympathy, something for a wedding. It has some things that you could use on the inside. I'm using this one that says thinking of you with all my heart. I love that one. And we're going to heat emboss it right in the middle of this one. So I'm going to grab my Versamark ink. Before I do that, aren't y'all proud of me? I'm going to remember to use my powder tool and powder the outside of this to get the static out of it. So I only get embossing powder where I want it. So that will help my embossing powder from sticking, except where my ink is at. And that's what the Versamark is. It's a really good watermark ink. So let's grab a stamp block, and I'm going to pick up my stamp like so and ink it up. And then I'm going to try to stamp as much into the middle as I possibly can. That looks pretty good, and we're gonna do this in white embossing powder. So let me grab out my embossing powders. And here's my white. So I'm going to take this and hold it about like that, and then we're going to put embossing powder all over it. That looks good. Now I'm going to grab my heat tool, but before I do, I'm going to take my reverse tweezers and I'm going to pick this up like so. And I'm going to bring over my heat tool. This is our Stampin' Up! Heat tool. And if you don't have a heat tool for setting your embossing powder, this is an absolutely great one. I'm going to turn it on 2 to start with and get it hot, and then we'll put it to the paper. I will not be talking while I've got this going because it is loud. So here we go. Alright, and we've got that completely done. So now we can, you saw me use my little microfiber towel to get the embossing powder off. I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm just going to get that, not embossing powder, I'm sorry, the powder tool powder. I'm just getting that off of there so I have a nice crisp image. And I'm going to grab another die. This time I think it's going to be this one. Yep, this is the center, the smallest one in your rectangle dies that is in the center layering group. So that's where I got that from. So I'm going to center this over top of my sentiment. Something like that. Again, I'm going to grab my post-it flags. Alright, now that I've got this on here like I want it, I'm going to run this through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And I think this time I'm just going to use my mini because I can just sit this right up here on my desk and this piece will fit through here. So again, I want to angle it just a little bit so that it's not a hardship on my machine. And let's push this through. And then there is that piece all cut and die cut and ready to go. And now I'm going to return this to its little nesting spot, which was right in the center. Alright, so now I want to center this in, but I want to put it down with glue or either Stampin' Seal. So I think I'm going to do glue because that's going to give me a little bit of wiggle room, and I think I'm going to need some wiggle room on this one. Alright, that's the beginning of our card. So we want to dress this up a little bit, so I need some white ribbon. I can't remember if this is in my annual catalog or not. I'm going to check before I use it. Yeah, I believe it is, but I want to make sure because I don't want to use a product that you can't buy. That will irritate the living daylights out of some people, and I get it because I hate to see it, see somebody use something and I go to look to find it and it's sold out or completely gone and you can't even get it back to the manager, which is one of the things that a lot of distributors are working on at this point, is trying to get this type of thing done. Let me look for that and I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back, and yes, this ribbon is in the annual catalog, and it's located on page 146, and it's the white glitter organdy. I'm so glad this ribbon is still available because it's always been one of my favorites. So, closing up my catalog, let's put it away and get back to our card. So, I think for the inside, I'm just going to put a piece of white, a white card base. And let me grab a scrap, and I've got some scraps right here. And let's go ahead and cut this down before we do our ribbon or anything. And let's cut this to 4 by 5 and 1/4. And that will give us our mat to go inside. You know, and at this point, if you wanted to, and you know, while I was looking through the catalog, I realized this. We could put this on another card base, either way, and absolutely make another card. We could stamp in here or do whatever was needed, and that will make another card. And I may do that. I may very well do that. All right, so what I want to do is take that mat, and we're going to put that right there. I'm not going to glue it in yet because I'm thinking I want to stamp on it. Okay, so what I want to do now, I think, is go ahead and put a bow on it, and then I want to go back, and I'm not sure exactly how I want to do this yet. I want to make my bow small, so I'm going to start out with my tail about that long, and I'm going to wrap this twice around my fingers, and I'm going to cut me off a piece about yay long. So I'm going to grab my fabric scissors and give that a little snip. Over, under, over, and then through my fingers, and then over and under, and just work it back and forth, tightening it down as you go. That one looks pretty good. All right, let's pull it off of my fingers. Just like that. Now we can cut this tail. Like so. And I'm going to fluff my bow just a tiny bit, and I think I'm going to put that right there in the middle of that top part. So let's get some glue dots. Love my mini glue dots for putting down my bows. They work so good every time. And here we go, and all we have to do is stick that down just like that. So good for holding your bows, and it just makes your bows look so pretty. Alright, so now we're going to need some, I got some basic pearls here, and what I want to do is I'm going to use these bigger ones. I've got 3 big ones right here on the corner, and I'm going to pull those off, and I'm going to put one here and one here, and I'm going to take the smaller ones, the really tiny ones, and I'm going to put one here. You get 3 sizes on these pearls, and they're gorgeous, and one right there. And I think that's all we need. And inside, let's see what we want to do on the inside. I think I want to stamp something on the inside, but I haven't decided exactly what I want that to be. And I'm looking over here at some of my other stamps that I had pulled out. I know I want to do a sentiment. And let's see, I don't know if this one's going to fit across this card. We'll check it and see. Life is better with friends like you. That one is the one that I love. So I'm going to do this. And I think I'm going to do it like that. And I'm going to pull in a floral. And let's see. I should have pulled this before I started talking, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this Nature's Harvest, one of my favorite, and I'm going to do this larger one, but I'm just going to touch it here in the corner, just like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to load it up on a stamp block, but I'm only going to load the top. Let's do it right here. I'm only going to load the top portion that I want to go in my ink, which is right there. I'm going to get the Starry Sky because I want to keep everything in that same ink family. I'm going to pick this sentiment up on a block, and let's do our flower first. And you know what? I'm going to need a piece of grid paper under here so I don't get ink on my desk. So I am going to load it up like that, and then I'm just going to stamp in this bottom corner just like that. It doesn't have to be anything you know, too substantial, just a little bit. Let me zoom y'all out just a hair. Oops, wrong way. There we go. Alright, I'm going to set this over here, and then I'm going to go ahead and ink up this sentiment, life is better with friends like you. And I'm going to come up about to there and stamp. So pretty. And now that is ready to go into the inside of our card. So I'm going to turn it over. I'm just going to, for time's sake, I'm going to use a little Stampin' Seal. The Stampin' Seal, like I told you, has gotten much better. So if you tried it when it first came out and didn't love it, I would suggest to give it another try, because it is absolutely wonderful now. It comes out really easy. I think they made some improvements because I think they got a lot of complaints. I know I went into we as demonstrators have a place called the Sandbox where we can actually complain a little bit, or give, let's call it a suggestion box. That sounds much better than a complaint box. But they call it the Sandbox, and the Sandbox is just a place, like I said, where you can leave comments. And I did comment that this was not easy to use. But there's our card. Isn't it pretty? I love the way this turned out, and I like my bow right there. I don't think I would have done anything different with this. I love the way it, love the way it turned out. The only other thing that I can say, no, I'm pleased with it. Here's the two cards, both the same layout. This one I flipped the larger one to the bottom and the smaller one to the top versus this way here, and I did heat emboss my sentiment for the middle, and I put my bow here instead of here. So a different card, different colors, same layout, but yet they both look totally different. So just goes to show what you can do. And like I said, I still have enough of this to make another one, and I'll do that, and I'll put this on my blog. So when you see this video go up, you will actually see all three of these cards on my blog. So thanks again so much for tuning in. God bless and keep you. And as I always say in closing, let everything that you do and say, and even the thoughts that enter your brain, let them bring glory to our Father in heaven. If you say something, let that be a double check. Did that bring glory to God? If it didn't, then don't do it. Don't say it. He is so worthy of our praise. So worthy. The sacrifice he made for you and I to live in paradise in heaven forever and ever is worth more than our very life. And he gave his life so that we could live forever. Praise his name. So until we craft again, God bless and keep you, and know that you are loved. Bye-bye.